Hi guys, this is a follow-up to my loot box video that I did a few weeks ago. I said I was going to do this one. People have been asking when it was going to be out, and so here it is. I think this is a good day to do this simply because it's the day that Call of Duty gets microtransactions, where you can now buy loot crates in Call of Duty with real money. And I just want to ask everybody who listens to this video not to buy any loot crates. Stop buying loot crates. Because if you buy even one loot crate, that means you condone, accept and want loot crates in games in the future. So what will happen is this: developers will be told to create a game that requires loot crates to play properly. They will hold back the content, they will tailor the content, whether it be a single player campaign as we've seen in Assassin's Creed, or whether it be multiplayer like in Battlefront 2. They will create a problem. The problem will either be a grind or the fact that other players are just pawning your ass with better gear. And the only way to fix the problem will be to purchase loot crates. That is what's happened. You can see that in 2017. That's exactly what they've done. They've made the grind in Assassin's Creed horrific unless you buy loot crates, and they've made pay to win pretty much mainstream with Battlefront 2. This is what you're gonna get when you buy loot crates. Stop buying fucking loot crates. The people that are putting the loot crates into games are not gamers. These people have probably never played a computer game ever. These people are big players out there. These are financial businessmen. These are financial businessmen that are investing their money in a system that they think is going to give them a big, huge return. And they know that a lot of gamers are stupid, so it's kind of like a win-win situation for them, because they screw up games and then the very people that play the games defend them for screwing them up. They must be laughing all the way to the bank. We have to stand. We've seen what happens if we do that. Look what's happening to EA now. They're in big trouble, EA. Big trouble, because people made a stand. Well, we have to do the same thing with Activision, because they're trying to wreck Call of Duty. Well, let's be honest, it's been wrecked for a long time, but it's not the point. The point is they are wrecking games. Other developers, other publishers are looking at this and saying, wow, look at all the money they've made through loot crates. We need loot crates too. And all games are going this way. 2018 at the minute is on like the edge of a precipice. Is it going to go the loot crates, or are people being scared off with everything that's happened to Electronic Arts? We don't know yet what's going to happen, but this move today by Activision kind of tells me that they're still not giving a fuck. They still haven't got it. They still haven't learnt their lesson. We need to make these fuckers pay. They've made us pay for years. It's now time for us to make them fuckers pay. We need to starve them of their finances. We need to cut off their gravy. We need to do this. We need to stop buying loot crates. No matter how much you're tempted, don't buy them. Don't buy microtransactions. Fuck it. Buy the base game. Don't buy the deluxe or the gold. Buy the base fucking games. And that's it. And I guarantee you, if people start doing this, if people start boycotting microtransactions and loot crates, I'll tell you exactly what will happen. These companies will lose billions. And I mean billions. You see, they aren't interested in good games. No one gives a fuck in these big companies about good games anymore. It's all about, all the whiteboards is full of how can we get as much money out of you gamers. We want gamers to pay at least 6 times for the game. It's not good enough now to go and buy a game for like $29.99, $34.99, £40, £50. That's not good enough. They're not happy with that. They're not happy with that. They wanted to pay that, then they wanted to pay another £50 on loot crates, then another 50 on microtransactions, another 50 on season passes. They just want more and more money. They want you to pay 5 and 6 times for the games that you play. And all these apologists who say, oh, game development now is so expensive, they need to do this or we will not get the games. Do you know something? That's just bullshit. Do you know what? Electronic Arts development costs peaked in 2009 and they've been dropping ever since. It's now 2017, it's now pretty much 2018, and development costs are lower now than they were in 2009, a lot lower, but profits are a lot higher, and it's because of loot crates. They're not throwing a lot of money at development costs. Why do you think games are so shit? Why do you think the multiplayer maps are so fucking rancid now? It's because no one gives a fuck. How can people not see this? Why are game reviewers giving these games such good fucking scores? It's bullshit. They're garbage. Do you know, I streamed on Saturday night. Was it Saturday or Sunday? Sunday night. I streamed Sunday night, Medal of Honor Allied Assault, and it was full. It was full. We had 16 players in, 8 aside, and we played it for hours, and everybody had a great time. The stream's up on the other server, on the other channel. We had a great time. That was a game made in 2001. Just the maps are so damn good. When you play Call of Duty World War II, the maps are fucking awful. Battlefront 2, Star Wars, there's only one really good map in that whole fucking game. It's bullshit. It's absolute bullshit that this is the kind of shit that we're being served now. And reviewers need to stop protecting their fucking business by thumbing up or giving good scores to these big fucking games with big fan bases. Oh, I'm protecting my... Yeah, I'm looking at the people who gave Assassin's Creed Origins a free fucking pass. And as game reviewers, they should be slating games like that. Absolutely slating games like that until they get the message. And people shouldn't be buying the loot crates or pre-ordering games like this. We have got to make a fucking stand. It's no use just saying, oh, I hate loot crates, it's bullshit. Right, I'm just going to go and buy a loot crate. But, oh, I fucking hate it, it's horrible. No, you've got to show them in their data that you hate it. They're watching your data. They are watching everything on these big fucking screens. They're watching all the data coming in as how many players are buying loot crates. At what level are they buying the loot crates? What is happening to cause them to buy loot crates? And they will then look at this data, find somebody who, say, I don't know, played the game without buying loot crates for a few hours, but he died a lot. We see he's dying a lot. He's dying a lot. Look, he's died. He bought a loot crate there. He's obviously getting frustrated. Right, what we need to do in the next game, we need to tweak the game, make some really hard situations, and offer a solution to get past it with a loot crate. That's what they're doing, guys. They're not looking at, hang on, is this map really fun? Is this map fun? What if we made a map where we did this? That would be so much fun. They're not interested in that. They don't give a fuck about that, guys. They only look at trends of how you are buying the fucking crates. That's what gaming is now. And if we don't stop it now, it's going to get out of control. We have got to act now and stop buying. Make 2018, make your New Year's resolution that you're right. You're not going to pre-order. You're not going to buy loot crates. You're not going to buy microtransactions. You're not even going to buy a DLC unless it's months and months and months after the game's released. Because that's what DLCs started out as. They weren't bad when they first started out, because what you would get, you'd get a game that was really good. A game was really good, and the developers and the publishers would say, well, we've had a hit on our hands here. Let's make some more content for that. And so they would make more content long after the game had been released, and so you would get it like 6 months later. You'd get new levels, new gear and all that in a DLC. That's fine. I love games that are good getting supported long term, but when you get a DLC on the day of release or a week later, you know that that's part of the real game that was made initially, just sliced up. Don't buy them. I'll just end with this, guys. There was a Wall Street analyst saying that we should be happy with loot crates and pay more for them. He says we're being undercharged, not overcharged. That tells me one thing. It tells me Wall Street haven't a fucking clue when it comes to computer games. Now, they valued Electronic Arts. They're the ones that give Electronic Arts their current value, by the way. They'll say, oh, this company's worth that much. Now, let me tell you something about Electronic Arts. Electronic Arts, as you know, they acquire companies, rape them, and then discard them like a dirty rag. That's what they've done to serial games. That's what they did to many games. I mean, many companies, Westwood Studios being my favourite of them all. So they've kind of destroyed a lot of franchises. They've destroyed Command & Conquer, pretty much Star Wars, Battlefront now, Need for Speed's been destroyed, Mass Effect. There's been loads that's been totally destroyed by Electronic Arts. Now, what do they have left? Every big franchise that EA have are all built on loot crates. FIFA, for example. It's all about the Ultimate Team, where it all started. That's where microtransactions started. And all their portfolio now is built on games that were built on loot crates. Now, if loot crates become gambling, which it's looking like it might, the UK hasn't said they are, but they are still watching it. There's a lot of bad publicity. This has certainly not ended about loot crates. But if loot crates do become taxed by governments, which I think is going to happen next year, then Electronic Arts are in big trouble, because they've got nothing to fall back on. You know, Activision and Ubisoft have good IPs to fall back on that don't require loot crates. EA don't. Essentially, EA are going to be in serious trouble, and they are totally overvalued as a company on the stock market. And you will see their value plummet in 2018, in my opinion. You're going to see their value, their share value plummet if loot crates either get banned or regulated, and I think they'll probably get regulated and taxed by governments. Governments love to make money on stuff like this, and they'll be sniffing around this, watching it, and it's not going to go away for them. And so they're going to have to stop loot crates. And then EA are because what will happen next is, because their value will drop on the stock market, the investors may start pulling out. They need that investment. So let's hope that this kind of stuff does happen, but it's only going to happen with you guys. You are in control of these people. Their destiny is in your hands. And as gamers who love the gaming industry, and I'm talking to reviewers and YouTubers alike here, you know, stop protecting your little corner of the fucking gaming industry that's your business. Stop making business decisions that you're scared of going against the grain. Just grow a pair of fucking balls, stop licking the arses of these big fucking publishers, and start calling this shit out. Every game that adopts loot crates, we should be fucking hammering in 2018, because I will be. I'll not thumb up a single fucking game that has any pay-to-win loot crates, and they better be free to play if they're full of fucking loot crates. It's bullshit. It needs to go. It's ruining the gaming industry. Stop fucking condoning it by buying them, and stop condoning it by giving games that have them good fucking scores.